I'm gonna call on a couple bar reach-ins. They're about 65 degrees. These two doors, those two doors, and then the center island unit. All beat up equipment. So this is in my favorite rack. I'm gonna take these panels off and get to this bar condensing unit. Should be right here. Swamp cooler seems to be working because I feel hot, humid air blowing out of it. So the condensing unit is here. The compressor doesn't feel hot. Doesn't even feel like it's running. So we're gonna go and put some gauges on it. Check and see what's going on. The condenser fan motor doesn't feel hot. So we will see. Okay, so what I found is that the breaker's tripped going to the condensing unit. So right off the bat, I made sure the breaker was off for sure. Double check power. Disconnected the wires coming in. Check the unit to ground. We've got a grounded compressor. Click to the capillary tube and I'm clicked to one of the terminals. What was interesting was I couldn't get a good reading on a ground. And it was actually, I had to scratch the copper lines up so much. It wasn't, and it's like the unit's not properly grounded anyways because it wasn't giving me good reading to the cabinet. So that's kind of scary too. I bet you anything there's no ground wire ran. Well, maybe there is, I don't know. It just wasn't getting good ground, but it was good enough to trip the breaker, but it wasn't good enough for my meter to read it until I scratched it up. And then now I'm getting continuity. So there's not anything I can do about this right now. And unfortunately, this is a R22 setup and the coils downstairs are completely destroyed. So I don't know. I got to think about this and talk to their facilities department and see what they want to do. So I'm just going to collect some information like models and serial numbers of the condensing unit, sizes of the line set, and then I'll go down to the boxes and get any information off the inside of the boxes so I can size up new coils, because one of the options I'm going to give them is just to replace everything and convert it to 404. If there's a plus side, at least it's not too hot outside. Before I put all my tools away and go downstairs, I've made videos about this rack before. This is the one that I lost the compressor at nighttime and I had to come out here because the swamp cooler stopped working, la-di-da. This swamp cooler runs 24/7 and it never stops running. Because of that, I'm not gonna walk away from it right now without pulling the doors off and just inspecting everything, because I'd rather not have to come back tonight for a walk-in freezer or cooler. I'm here, might as well check it. Again, going the extra mile. Number one, to protect the customer. Number two, to protect my ass from having to come out here potentially for tomorrow, tomorrow. This location is about an hour and a half away from my shop, so this is the last place I want to be on a Saturday. Stuff is just totally rotted away. Coils are just beat. This coil's crammed in here. 115 volts. Okay, so I've got the new condensing unit here. We obviously got the authorization to do everything. So I'm gonna just prep as much at my house as I can because I plan on going out and doing this tomorrow morning. So my plans are to get rid of this tiny little receiver, get rid of this dryer and this sight glass. We're gonna go ahead and put a bigger receiver on there. I've got this bad boy right here. We'll get it piped into there. That rotolock valve, I don't think that rotolock valve is going to fit on this one, but I have a new one for it. So we're just going to get it ready. This is just a 3/4 horsepower. It's going to put out about 6,000 BTUs. I think I've got about 4,000 or 5,000 BTUs of coils, so it's a little overshooting it, but the next one down would have been too small, so we should be good. But this is the one thing that I noticed, because these are indoor condensing units, so the receivers are never big enough to be ran all the way downstairs. The other thing is that this one has the electronic unit controller, and I don't think I'm going to leave that in there. I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and we're going to put in a standard dual pressure control. Because this is located in that refrigeration rack with that swamp cooler blowing on it, I'm just pretty confident that we are going to have shorted out digital controllers, and that's the last thing I need all the way out in Palm Springs. So I'm just going to put a normal dual pressure control on this bad boy. I'll be cautious when I take this apart to take out the digital controls, and I'll save everything. And then I'll take the suction pressure transducer right there, and we'll use it somewhere else. I'll Frankenstein a unit or something like that and make it work. Okay, so my condensed unit's as prepped as it's going to be. I just went ahead and pulled this off and just threw a blank plate on there. You know, it's not pretty, but it'll be functional. I just need to hook up line voltage power. It's already wired into the pressure control. It's pre-piped over here. And it's just kind of over here, pinched off and welded, ready to go. I nitrogen pressured the high side and the low side, so that way we can ensure that there's no leaks. Much improvement. Put a ceiling mounted coil in there. It's polishing a turd, but it's there. Alright, so we're running now. Sight glass. I had to put that piece of sheet metal there because I was afraid of the airflow from the swamp cooler blowing the condenser fan blade, because it would move when it wasn't running. So I can only imagine how it would affect the starting torque of the motor. So anyways, put that piece of sheet metal there. It's not the prettiest, but it's functional. And everything's good. The unit's running. It's pulling down to temp. It's labeled. I went a little crazy with the marker, but it's okay. And that's it. Good to go. So that was a production. To recap, we had a service call on a Friday afternoon on bar reachins not working. When I arrived, I found that the compressor was grounded. It was an old R22 system that badly needed to be converted. So I talked to the customer, got hold of the facilities department. They approved us to go ahead and upgrade the entire system. So I went ahead and ordered all the parts, and we went back out and finished it up. I know I didn't get a lot of video when we were doing the installation of the new equipment, but it's really hard to do that. But you guys saw the diagnosis, and then you saw a few clips. So, you know, I like to be thorough. I like to give the customer all the options. I did give them the option to just put a new condensing unit on the roof, but I strongly suggested that they let me go ahead and convert everything, that we were done with it. And they agreed. That's what they wanted to do. So we put a new condensing unit. We used the existing line set because it was still good, and we put a high acid dryer on there. The refrigerant didn't smell burnt, but I went ahead and did an acid test on it too, and I didn't get anything, but I still put a high acid dryer just to be safe because the original compressor was grounded. New evaporator coils downstairs, redid the drains on them. They're good. Checked back on it the next day, and it was great. So we're good to go. See you on the next one.